All right, day 3. So we started this chapter at the end of yesterday, and I'm just going to skip through a little bit of the front, at least to the juicy part, like the area of money. The context here is that, it's hard to explain context. It's more like it feels like impossible to explain context. Anyway, we're on day 3. Come join us on day 3. Read up to where we are. Catch up. And then hit play if you want. I still was surprised that the whole thing starts out, accept your anger, for it's the next step in this continuum upon which we travel. Mm-hmm. All right, I'm going to start up right here in the yellow. The area of money or abundance is where learning fooled you and failed you the most. Seems like a good place that we can all agree on to start.
That's true.
All right. You may believe that having a spiritual context for your life will assist you in feeling more loved and possibly even assist you in finding you someone to love. You may believe that this spirituality can help mend a feeling of brokenheartedness, can cause you to extend forgiveness to those who hurt you, to make amends to those you hurt, or to simply quit feeling guilty or bitter or shamed or rejected because of them. But you do not believe the spiritual context is capable of bringing you the lack of want you associate most strongly with money. Just posing the idea that having a spiritual context for your life will assist you in living abundantly will cause you to think, I doubt it, or I'll believe it when I see it. Mm-hmm. You might think spirituality can assist you in living a more simple life, and thus a life of limits of which you are more accepting. But given time to consider such an idea, you're likely to become more and more agitated, go back and forth between the general and the specific, thinking of both your own lack in life and that of those whose lack is more pronounced than your own. Fairness seems non-existent in terms of who has and who has not, and the world seems made up of haves and have-nots, and to function in the insane way that it does largely due to this discrepancy. Ooh. In such a case, would it make sense that we do not In such a case, would it make sense that we not address this issue, this blatant cause of so much insanity? This cause of so much anger. Let us return for a minute to the base idea behind the issue of money or abundance. The way you have learned. The mind would tell you that nothing is given, and that all must be either learned or earned. And most of the time, both. For you have learned in order to earn, and learned in order to advance yourself in the world one way or another. Since money or abundance is not a given for all, but only for a few, you think of it much like the given of natural gifts or talents, the givens of fresh and inspired ideas. You do not, however, see that these are in truth linked as givens, for you do not see that all are gifted. It is only because some are gifted more abundantly than others that they can use the givens of talent and inspired ideas to bring them wealth. This is the idea of bartering, which we've spoken of before, or bargaining, which we will speak more of here. It is the base idea that is behind all ideas of lack. an idea you so thoroughly learned during the time of learning that letting it go, even now, still torments you with worry and anger. It is the idea of an if this then that world, an idea of a world in which the beliefs set forth within this course are neither seen nor lived by. This is the basic fallacy that the time of learning supported. The idea of if this then that, the idea of abundance earned, the idea that nothing being truly free, not you and not your gifts, everything comes with a price. Abundance comes, even to those gifted, only through the exploitation of gifts. Abundance remains, even to those born with it, only through the exploitation of others. Only through some having less do some have more.
That is so
To think
real.
in such terms and then to see such thoughts as even capable of having spiritual value is something you think of as insane. There seems no remedy. And so you would rather not even attempt an understanding of how things might be different. As far as you have come, these ideas are still with most of you to one degree or another. Even though you know these are false ideas, and in that knowing may even say to yourself as you read them that you no longer think in such a way, they are excuse me, they are there in the learned pattern, and you know this too. They are what prevent you from believing that the ideas set forth in this course, when practiced, are capable of making a difference, especially in terms of monetary abundance. This is one of those situations in which you know and have no idea what to do with what you know. Being unable to replace, in application, the false with the true, the pattern of the false remains
It's
and
like,
blocks the
okay,
pattern of the true.
I got the idea, except what do I do with it now?
Yet how can you accept yourself when you have feelings such as these? How can you accept the idea of inheritance with ideas such as these? How do you accept me when you see me as symbolizing a life of godly poverty, of calling my followers to abandon their worldly goods? Thus must this source of your anger and discontent, this source of your non-acceptance, be revealed in a new light.
I'm ready.
All right. 317. Let's go back to the idea of money when it is seen as a given. It is a given in one case only, in the case of inheritance, in the case of those born to money. Thus, this is a good place to start, since inheritance is that of which we speak. Let's be clear that we're not speaking of money or abundance as being given when it is hard work to attain, not even when it seems to come from some event of luck or fate. We're talking specifically here of money given through inheritance, the money some lucky ones are born with. These are those who are resented most within your world, and yet envied. This resentment and envy fills you with anger. If you feel any anger now, pay attention to its effect on you. You can feel, perhaps, the strain and tension in your stomach, back, and neck. It's there, I feel it. Oh. The degree of your discomfort with this issue is something you only imagine to be greater than that of your brothers and sisters, right? Because you're special. It's harder for you. A few of you will not feel this, and you're the lucky ones. And if you are among those few, don't skip past this dialogue, but join in so that you understand, as do those for whom this dialogue is meant, the power of this aspect of your brothers and sisters' lives and the power and function of anger. Excuse me, I got a little tickle this morning. The power of money to affect you is a power that is denied, rarely acknowledged, seldom spoken of. Think you not that the shame that comes from the heartaches or mistakes of mistaken actions is any greater than the shame those who feel no abundance, who suffer a lack of money? It's the same shame. There's still a commonly held belief that abundance is a favor of God. And as such, those who do not experience abundance have done something wrong. We will return to this. But first, let's continue with the denial of money's effect. The shame and pain of heartaches and mistakes is more often and more easily spoken of than the shame of monetary failure. Certainly, much complaining and general fretting are done, but only to the degree in which you feel you are in the same circumstances of those to whom you complain. To speak of money matters with someone who might have more than you would consider a shaming act. You would fear that they would think you want something from them, and you would suffer embarrassment. To speak of money with anyone who has less might open the door for a request for what you do not feel you have to give. To reach a position in which you feel you need to ask for money from others, even from a bank, is seen as a dire situation indeed.
So true.
This asking will likely be an ordeal of some consequence. Even those who are seen by others as constant takers, unafraid to ask for a handout or a free lunch, experience these same emotions, the buildup of anger, resentment, and shame. In the realm of money lie your biggest failures, your greatest fears, the risks you've taken or not taken, your hopes for success. What you wish for is contingent upon having the means to pursue it, and few of you truly think that money would not solve most of your problems.
Hmm.
Even those of you on this spiritual path think money is among the greatest limits to what you can accomplish, to how you can live the life you would choose to live. You may have left behind aspirations of wealth and replaced them with ideas of having more time or more fulfilling work or simpler pleasures. Yet you still see your new state as one that does not touch upon this aspect of reality. The better life you might attain will be a byproduct rather than the effect of cause. The better life you might attain will be a byproduct rather than an effect of the cause.
The idea here is that cause and effect are one. We aren't quite there yet, is what I think he's saying here, that we can decide to have abundance. And that's when real abundance immediately is the effect of that choice, that decision, that cause, instead of what that paragraph you just read was saying, that most of us, if not all of us, think that, well, we'll just like make life easier. We won't have maybe quite as much money, but we're still going to be happier than we were before. When really we do want some of that abundance. I mean, you can't deny that that's there. And so we end up feeling shamed and feeling envious and all of these things. So what he's moving to do here is to get us into a position where our higher self can cause abundance, and the effect will be abundance, rather than changing our level of what we wanted in abundance because it didn't quite get
I get it.
as
He's not
abundant.
talking about us changing our expectations. I'd say he's saying that a better life will come not because more money shows up, but money will be a byproduct of that better life showing up. Byproduct. Better life is coming just because you're heading in the direction of what you're doing, and you're doing what you're doing. By a better life is a byproduct of what you're doing, if we're doing it right.
That no, I have to differ here, and I think this is an important point. This is all in the context of what is not quite as right. We're not quite on the pathway here with both feet. It's going to be better as we become a cause of our own abundance by choices, not that it'll be a byproduct. We can cause it. I think that's what he's saying. I'm not sure. Let's see what the next paragraph says.
Well, it's not a promise that we're going to be attaining a better life.
The better life.
You might attain.
All of this was all in the realm of money and our biggest failures and our greatest fears, the risks that we took and didn't take, and the hopes for success. What you wish, I'm reading it. What you wish for is contingent upon having the means to pursue it, and few of you truly think that money would not solve most of your problems. Even those of you on this spiritual path think money is among the greatest limits to what you can accomplish, to how you can live the life you would choose to live if you could. You may have left behind aspirations of wealth and replaced them with ideas of having more time, more fulfilling work, simpler pleasures, and yet you still see your new state as one that does not touch upon this aspect of reality. The better life you might attain will you still think will be a product rather than the effect of cause. I think he's trying to get us into a position of causing abundance and not causing spiritual growth by not learning and so on and waiting for money to come in. I think that we are in a position to start being in the cause, being at cause. That's what I think is here, and we just need to read more to find out.
All right, well, I'll start doing that.
Right. I'm going to let you then.
Here is the real of the old reality, most solid and unrelenting. Not having enough is the reality of your life, because it was the reality of the learning life. Even if you are one of those others, even if you are one of those others consider lucky, one of those who've always had just enough, little do others know that your fear is as great as theirs. That while you admit you have enough, you are sure it will not be enough for what the future holds. And if you ever need evidence for this position, it is quick to come.
Amen.
As soon as you get just a little bit ahead, something comes up. A roof leaks, car breaks down, you back into a tree, an endless series of needs arise. This
Getting
evidence
kind of personal here, Lee.
This evidence is exactly what you have sought. The evidence proves yourself right.
Gee, thanks.
This is the way that fears operate. They operate in the pattern of the ego, a pattern that was learned, a pattern that was emphasized and re-emphasized through external events so that it would not be forgotten, so that it would reinforce wants until this attitude of wanting seemed impossible to unlearn. It is a pattern of survival, but not your survival. It's the pattern of the ego's survival. And even though the ego is no longer with you, the pattern remains. Because what you learn and the way you learned it remains.
Mm-hmm. This is heavy stuff. Yep. Very good.
It is. This paragraph was kind of a smack in the face to me, but I can't. I'm not having a hard time articulating what specific, but it's a good look at fears, a bright, clear look at fears,
It's right on.
and our entrenched thought processes that keep them going.
Spot on.
Okay, let's take a good long look at this so we can leave it behind.
Mm-hmm. Good point.
The pattern remains because what you learned and the way you learn it remains. All right. Remember, you've learned that nothing is given. For what use would you have of learning if such was the case?
If such were not the case.
Oh, yeah, that.
Read it again, Mike.
We try this again. 325. Now listen
Take
carefully
two.
because this time I'm going to get it right.
Take two.
Remember, you have learned that nothing is given. For what use would you have of learning if such were not the case?
In other words, this learned stuff, we're trying to get away from that.
The idea of being caught in the learned stuff? No, I think what he's saying is what you've learned. In the learning world, we don't deal with givens because you have to learn from scratch, right?
Yep.
In our dialogue.
And there's a lot of programs out there, and I use the word program on purpose, where they try and teach you what you need to do. And so we went there and we learned what to do, but we still are not in the elevated self form of the higher self yet. This is what we have to do, is let the learning go that we learned in these other places, and let's find out what Jesus has for us to do here.
Here, here. In our dialogue, we've begun to use examples of what you did not learn in order to demonstrate that what you learned is not true. What you learned is insane. But to realize the truth, you must now fully reject the untruths that you learned. You must fully reject the ideas that taught you that you do not have enough, that you will only have what you can earn or learn, that only through effort will you gain, and that with your gain will come another's loss. In other words, here is where you must accept the teachings of this course. Do not feel dejected that you have not learned these things. They were learned to the degree that you could learn them within the teachings of A Course in Love. But beyond learning is where we now stand. We now stand. Oh, Gracie's calling me.
Oh.
Hi, Gracie.
Hi.
How you doing this morning?
Sorry.
There she is.
Hey,
Gracie.
welcome.
Wow.
Okay,
Hi,
now
Dean.
turn that off. We should be able to hear you. Let me. You've got to turn on your microphone. There's a little microphone down there, Gracie. Pop, we can still hear you, right?
Yep.
Okay. Gracie, just like you turned on your video, you need to turn on the audio. Look for the little microphone button. It's muted right now. It might be because we were on that other phone call at the same time.
Gracie got here a whole lot faster than I did in the beginning.
Can you hear us, sweetie?
Oh.
Good job.
I didn't have any audio, so I was like, what are you saying?
You figured it out, though, didn't you? You just turned that microphone on. I am super proud of you, Grace.
Gracie, this is amazing.
There are a lot of adults who can't figure out how to join a meeting like this.
Where's the paper?
Oh, I will share my screen.
I can't see the paper.
This one?
Okay.
What we're reading? Yeah. Remember Pop Pop over the weekend when I showed Gracie what we were doing?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Do you want to listen while I read some, Grace?
Yeah.
Okay. Pop Pop, what paragraph was I on? I lost my spot.
325 will work. Just read.
Remember, you have learned that nothing is given. For what use?
Who did that? Gracie's drawing. I like Gracie's drawing. Yay!
There's a parrot.
It's a parrot. Is it
Yay,
Talk Like a
Gracie.
Pirate Day? Is that your
No.
parrot for Talk Like a Pirate?
Is it Daddy?
Lee, you're recording this, you know. It's wonderful. This is exactly what Gracie.
Is Daddy at your house?
Giving you a necklace.
Papa, is Daddy at your house?
No.
Hi,
Daddy's
Dean.
at home. Pop Pop is at Pop Pop's house. You guys are at your house. But next week at this approximate time, Gracie, you'll be on your last day of school, and I'm going to drive up, and I'm going to get Gracie, and then I'm going to get Dean, and then we're going to start driving south so that we go to see Pop Pop and Yaya.
You're gonna come see us next week.
Okay?
Yay!
We're excited about that too.
And I have such a surprise for Dean when he gets here. It's a very
Wait a minute.
special.
Do you have a surprise for me?
I bet they do. All right, Dean's running off shaking his booty. Okay.
Shake my booty, shake my booty.
Where are you, Gracie?
I'm coloring.
Are you in your house?
Yeah.
This is Gracie's new house. I have never seen the inside of this house. This is the first video call that Gracie's done with me.
Shake my booty. Shake my booty. Shake my booty.
Apparently, there's a lot of booty shaking going.
Hey, let me go get Yaya. Hold on 1 second. I'll be right back.
Hey, Gracie girl.
Yeah.
How are you doing today? Did you have a good night's sleep?
Yep.
Yeah. Are you doing something else now? Looks like your drawings are gone.
It says hi, Bob.
Oh, it sure does. I see it right there. This is a pretty cool tool. You can do all kinds of stuff. Did I show you that you could share your phone across this too? Here comes Pop Pop. Oh, look, there's Yaya.
Hi, how's it going, guys?
Do you see what I wrote?
There's a right in the middle of the page, Mom.
Says hi, Bob.
Hi, Bob. Yeah, Gracie just typed that.
What?
Thank you, Gracie.
She had been drawing pictures before.
I'm in the middle of the meeting. I'm in a meeting.
Oh, okay.
And Dean is there too.
Is Dean in the meeting?
No,
No.
not right now.
He's kind of in and out, right?
Yeah.
And roundabout.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here's the family.
Hi.
We're all
Hi.
here.
And guess where they're going to be next week?
Where?
Right here. They're coming to see us
When?
next week.
Boy.
Can't
We'll see them
wait.
next week. 1 week from today.
Terrific.
There's Dean talking.
Gracie, I'm coming after you. Here I come. Ah!
Gracie, you look focused. You look like you're trying to do something or accomplish something.
Who? Gracie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Are you looking at her screen? You look like you're drawing on something, or working on something.
Where are you, Gracie? Are you at your daddy's?
No,
No, she's home.
I'm at my house.
Okay.
Gracie took the
She's her-
iPad
who's
home with her
drawing that?
yesterday,
Gracie.
Is that
I'm
Gracie?
watching Wild Kratts.
and Dean is watching a TV show apparently. And Grace is drawing on our screen. Very fast.
No, not. I'm clicking undo.
Ah, she's undoing very fast. All right.
Yeah.
Well, it is a wonderful pleasure to have you here. And Grace, you know, me and Pop Pop, we talk every morning about this time, so you're always welcome to join us
Terrific idea.
and draw pictures on top of what we try and read.
That's right.
I like the pictures.
Yeah. In fact,
Pictures
as long
work
as you
for
do it
me.
this way, I can keep
Oh,
reading.
that's a girl now, right? That's a girl with a dress.
There's a girl.
Yeah.
Hey. How you liking that pocketbook?
Good.
Grace, you have done a really good job of keeping that with you. So, Mama, 2 weeks running, I haven't seen her without the pocketbook. She takes it with her everywhere. She really gets it.
A woman needs her pocketbook. A young lady needs her pocketbook.
Well, I'm surprised at how much Gracie has been successful in remembering to keep it with her and to keep her stuff in it. So I'm just saying, I think she's doing
Excellent.
incredible.
Right? She's not a baby anymore.
No.
No, she is not. How do you like your purse, Grace? Do you like it?
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite thing inside your purse right now?
I can't recall any. I like them all.
All right.
Okay.
Well, I'm glad-
I like the $5 bill the best.
Yeah. Well, you know, you never can tell that when you come down here, another one of those might just appear in your pocketbook overnight.
Magic pocketbook,
Whoa.
but only in the realm of Pop Pop and Yaya.
That could happen. Gracie, you look just beautiful this morning. I'm so glad you joined our meeting.
I am too.
Look at
Oh,
that
she
circle.
found the circles.
That's a perfect circle.
That's
And
perfect
a
square.
Can you put the circle in the square? No, you can't move it.
I don't know if that peg will fit in that round hole.
Yep.
Huh.
What's in the background? That's Dean playing a game.
Hey, look, I got a laser pointer. Huh.
Where?
It's under spotlight. And it could be either a laser pointer, I guess, or an arrow. Hey, look at that circle right there. That's an amazing circle, and here is an amazing rectangle. Oh, look at that line, people. Look at that flower, people.
You know who drew that? I did. We can all
That
draw
is a
together.
nice flower.
We can all draw together.
I like that flower. Well, here's what I can do. I can clear all drawings.
Oh. Gracie, I love your face. Look at your expressions. This is funny. What are you doing?
She's cute as a bug. Cuter than any bug.
Making faces.
I don't know
Then we'll
where
just have to
where I
get back
was
to
in this
325 tomorrow. What do you say?
Start at 3:25 tomorrow. Okay.
You betcha. Okay. Put a little bookmark on there, and
I will. We'll start tomorrow with
Gracie.
with pictures.
I'm so happy that you did this, Gracie. You did it all by yourself. You came in and joined our meeting. It's amazing.
Love you,
to me.
Gracie.
I love you too.
Love you.